This is Rob Tubbett for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Delighted to be joined by Darren Barker. We're here in New York, the morning after the night before, where we've seen Andy Ruiz shock the world against Anthony Joshua. Darren, let's start off with the main event. Incredible night at Madison Square Garden.
It was nuts. Quickly, honestly, are you delighted to be sat here with me?
I'm always delighted to be sat here.
Is it you proper delighted?
Really delighted. To be fair, there are very, very few interviews where I'm not delighted to speak to whoever I'm speaking to, and even the ones that I'm not delighted to speak to,
who are they?
I still say.
Name them?
You can go back and you have a look that I don't say it.
You can't tell me the ones you're less delighted to speak to.
You probably know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, what a night. What a night. It was incredible. And I recently did a interview with one of your rivals, and all I said was, I love boxing. I love it. I love this sport. It's amazing. It's amazing. The atmosphere in there yesterday was incredible. You know, I was just such a super fan yesterday. My first fight at Madison Square Garden, it was, you know, though the results didn't go our way, and when I say I say, and I'm saying that as a patriotic Brit, and obviously a Matchroom supporter, and though they didn't go our way, it was just great. It was, you know, and the underdogs winning, and there was controversy, and it was just brilliant. Honestly, it was, you know, like I said, the results weren't fantastic, but the night was a night that Eddie Earn and Matchroom could be proud of.
Anthony Joshua, it was all a little bit strange. I mean, he didn't quite look himself in the when he was being introduced. Started the fight at quite slow pace. Do you think there was something that potentially could have gone wrong before the fight?
Who knows? Who knows? And it may become apparent. It may not be that there was anything wrong. Physically, he looked fine. Perhaps it could have been the occasion, the pressure, the stress, the expectation, the performance from Deontay Wilder against Brazil, the pressure to having to perform. Who knows? And flipping it on the other side, Ruiz had nothing to lose and everything to gain. So there's lots of things that may have caused the performance, but it is what it is. I mean, look, it was amazing. One of the biggest upsets I remember seeing live. But yeah, incredible.
Third round was one of the best heavyweight rounds for many a year.
Yeah.
What was you thinking when Anthony Joshua scored the first knockdown with that left hook?
Well, I just thought, this is it. They'll end it. They'll end it here. And he I must say, he did look a little bit vulnerable on attack, Anthony Joshua. Took one sort of on the top of the head, behind the ear, sort of. And it was incredible, wasn't it? It was nuts. It was nuts, and it's completely sort of changed the whole landscape of the heavyweight division now. You know, I'm trying to get Dave Allen the shot against Ruiz. But no, like, I just sort of proud to have been there yesterday. Like, it was just nuts. It was crazy, and it just makes me love this sport even more, even though the result didn't go the way that we sort of hoped it would. But remarkable scenes.
Well, you mentioned Anthony looking quite open in the exchanges when he was attacking. It was dropped 4 times by Andy Ruiz, somebody who's not known as, I mean, obviously being a heavyweight, they can all punch, but he's not known as being a concussive knockout artist or a particularly heavy puncher. Do you think that potentially indicates that there may be a genuine vulnerability or fragility to Anthony Joshua?
Maybe. We've seen it before, haven't we? Against Klitschko, he was nearly gone. It just... who knows? I don't know. I'm not going to make any excuses for him. Perhaps there was nothing wrong. Maybe it was just up against a hungrier opponent. You know, I was a little surprised that AJ didn't demand authority, you know, at the centre of the ring. I'm surprised he didn't stamp down and boss it from the off. You know, he's a bigger, stronger man. I get that there was no need to rush, but he did want to make a statement. I know he did. He did want to knock Ruiz out and impress these American fans. So by doing that, I think he would have probably had a better chance holding the centre of the ring, you know, throwing the jab from there. And to be a little technical when you're at the centre of the ring, not only are you bossing it and you're in control, you have space behind you where you get moved around the ring. He had about a foot. He was about a foot away from the ropes at times, and it makes it easier for Ruiz to land shots. He had his left hand down low, was moving to his left, walking on to Ruiz's right hand, big looping right hand. And that's what caused the damage. But look, we've seen it. It's heavyweight boxing. These things can happen. I remember I said it earlier when Mike Tyson lost to Buster Douglas. It was like a huge weight off of his shoulders. You know, it was almost relieved. You know, the pressure, the stress of having to win every single fight was just weighing so heavy on his shoulders. And it may be the same with Anthony Joshua. I'm not going to say he's happy he lost, but it may be a time that he can sort of have a month of not having any stress of being the number one heavyweight out there. But I'm sure he'd be eager to get back in the gym, right this wrong and move onwards. But it's always going to be tough against Ruiz. Ruiz if I was Ruiz, you'd be very confident you could do the job again. So I think the next coming weeks are going to be interesting to see what happens.
It's funny you should mention that. We did a poll straight after the fight on Boxing Social's Twitter, and it was overwhelmingly in favour of Ruiz if a rematch were to happen. There is a rematch. Eddie Hearn has said that Anthony Joshua will definitely pursue it, and Anthony Joshua said the same thing. Do you think that's a wise idea? I mean, I spoke earlier to Jamie Moore. We were talking about David Price and Tony Thompson, that kind of scenario. Do you think
the issue is, though, mate, sorry to butt in there, the issue is if he does have a tune-up fight, because that's what it would be, it'd be a tune-up fight, would he miss out on getting those titles back? And what I mean by that, if Ruiz goes down different routes, even loses them himself, and then they end up in the hands of Fury or Wilder or someone else, it may be he may be chasing those titles again, whereas he's got an immediate rematch in place in the contract. Would he not be best off going straight for it? Two ways to look at it, really. In my opinion, being, if I was the former heavyweight champion, well, I'll go straight back in there. But that's a decision they've got to make. I just think it's risky. No, put it this way, if you're any heavyweight in the world right now, you want to get in with Anthony Joshua. No, 100%. He's still going to get a very good payday, and more importantly, a lot of heavyweights out there would think they'd be able to beat Anthony Joshua.
You mentioned Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. These fights have been talked about. They've not happened for whatever reason. Too much at stake, various different belts. Now Anthony Joshua has lost. Do you think that'll make things a bit easier potentially to make those fights?
Be quite slightly embarrassing though if now they all start calling AJ out after he's lost, because that would show one thing, that they were bottle jobs and they didn't want to fight AJ, which I don't think is the case. I think they're confident they could have beaten him before this, but who knows? Like, it's an area that I'm not too up to date with. All the politics. I don't know why these fights haven't happened. Money this, contracts that. I just don't know. But what we do know, and if that's going by what Eddie said, we know who Anthony Joshua is going to be fighting next. It's Ruiz. They can get a camp together and try and get their career back on track. But for Ruiz, he's absolutely at the jackpot, isn't he? Mexican's first ever heavyweight champion of the world. Like, you couldn't help but be slightly happy for him, and what he's been able to achieve, because, sport loves an underdog. So, you have to stand up and give him a round of applause, because that was incredible. And now he goes into an automatic rematch, if that is the case, and just going to earn millions. So good luck to him. This sport's amazing. It's amazing, and it has so many great stories.
Okay, just finally, you mentioned it there, many believed Anthony Joshua was the number one heavyweight in the world before last night. Now, who do you think the number one heavyweight in the world is? Is it Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, is it Andy Ruiz, or is it still Anthony Joshua?
Well, I had I had Joshua as number 1 just because he had more belts. And it was that close, you know, it was a pick 'em out of the 3 of them, that being Fury, Wilder and Joshua. But I chose Joshua purely on the fact that he had more belts, because otherwise they're worthless. But the fact that Ruiz has got him doesn't make him number 1 for me, because I think Wilder and Fury could both comfortably beat Ruiz. So asking me now who I think the best heavyweight in the world is, I would say Tyson Fury, because I think Fury beat Wilder. So yeah, I'll go Tyson Fury for me, number 1.
Okay, well, Darren Barker, as always, real pleasure catching up with you. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. Let's try and enjoy the rest of our day here in New York.
Cheers, mate. And just one last thing, because I'm looking at him now. I've got an important 7 weeks with the White Rhino, and I would urge everyone just to get behind the man. He's one of our own. He's a good man who has his own story, and yeah, I'm just urging the whole of the British public to get behind him.
That's trainer and salesman Darren Barker signing out. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social.
Cheers, mate. Cheers. Cheers, bro.